Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of my mobile photography masterclass, and in this episode, we're going to look at advanced shooting techniques. Now, in the previous episode, episode 3, we looked at some basics of shooting photography on mobile phones, and in this video, we're going to go one step deeper and talk about some advanced techniques that I look for and look at every single day when shooting pictures on my iPhone. First up is to not be afraid of motion. Now, in photos, a lot of the time, your instinct is to make sure that everything is super sharp and super tack still so that it, to the eye, is pleasing to look at, but really sometimes motion can work in your favor to convey excitement or movement or the vibe of an environment at that time. Here's a picture I captured on my iPhone the other night when we were out for dinner, and as you can see, the motion of my friend's hand and body signifies that it was a pretty fun time with a lot of energy and laughter and excitement. If my subject was super still, it might not convey the same level of energy as it does in my version. Now again, sometimes motion is not a good thing where it is distracting to the viewer, but sometimes it can be a great artistic choice to make the photo look more fun. Next up, let's talk about flash. Now, flash is in. I love using flash not only on my phone camera, but also on my mirrorless camera that I use all the time because I think it really delivers a dramatic look to the photos that is kind of paparazzi-esque, a bit old school, a bit vintage, but very blatant and blunt in the style of photography. Now, personally, if you are going to use flash, I would only use flash in close scenarios, meaning that the subject that you're shooting is only, I would say, between 2 and 3 feet away from you, because on phones, the flash that you're using on the iPhone is not that powerful to get across a far distance if your subject is 8, 10, 12 feet away. It's not going to make the same impact as if the person is a lot closer to you. I use flash a lot in nighttime settings when we're out at a restaurant or at a club. It gives a really dramatic effect that is just a lot more fun. It also, for me, is kind of reminiscent of like an old disposable film camera that you would take on vacation somewhere, and the flash is for some reason always on. That's kind of the vibe I get when I use flash on my iPhone. And then last but not least, a lesson on tonality. Now, this is the most important lesson probably in this entire course, so make sure you pay attention to this. This is the one thing I promise that will make your photo or your collection of photos or your feed on Instagram stand out from anyone else's. Now, tonality is kind of, you can think of it as a collection of colors that are represented in your photos. Now, what is a collection of colors? Usually when you go out and about and you shoot photos, the reason that it's not a compelling or striking image is because there's not a strict set of colors that the photo is conveying to give it a certain character or vibe. Now, I took this shot in my kitchen last night, and as you can see, it has a lot of kind of one area of colors. If you look at a color wheel, all of the colors in this photo are leaning towards the orange, yellow, and reds. This gives the photo a certain energy or a certain feeling that it wouldn't otherwise do if there was other things in the frame that were maybe blue or purple or green, different colors that don't match with the tonality of that photo. Now, this will blend over to the editing portion of your photo, but in terms of actually shooting the subject matter, you can't change what's in your photo, minus Photoshop. You can't change what's in your photo after the fact when you go to edit. So if you're shooting a frame, make sure you think a lot about the tones, the tonality of all the different moving parts in your picture. That wraps up episode 4, advanced shooting techniques. Now in the next episode, episode 5, we're going into some basics of editing. I'll see you there.